Are you struggling to find time to write your book? Oh, boy, I feel ya. I've been going through the same thing myself. And in this episode, I've got 3 pages worth of notes to share with you on how you can master time and win the combat against that dreaded foe. So stay tuned.
Are you an entrepreneur, small business owner, or consultant looking to boost your authority, influence, and impact? The Author Switch podcast with best-selling, award-winning author Carma Spence is your answer. Tune in for actionable advice, powerful strategies, and engaging interviews to turn on your author switch and take your business to the next dimension.
The Author Switch.
Hello, and welcome to the Author Switch podcast. My name is Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write a lead and client attracting book in 90 days or less. Now, you might be juggling a business and writing your book, and maybe even a day job in there too. Who knows? I don't know your situation. I do know mine. And I had started out this year with this grand plan to write a book a month. And after 3 months, I have had to change that plan, in part because of the battle against time. I actually shared 5 reasons why I'm making that switch. So if you want to know more about why I've had to pivot and change my original plan, just drop switching gears into the comments or reach out to me in the DMs and ask me to send you the link to that episode of Coffee with Karma. But I've got 3 pages worth of notes to help you wrangle time. Now, obviously, sometimes time won't be wrangled and you'll have to switch up your plans, but so that you can put that off for as long as you can and maybe win the battle against time, I've got 3 general topics I'm going to be covering today: prioritizing your tasks, leveraging the unique skills you have as an entrepreneur, and then some time management hacks. So, before further ado, let's get to it. The first tip for prioritizing your time is something called the top 3 method. Basically, every day you select the top 3 things you want to get done that day. Now, hopefully, working on your book is one of those top 3. And then you make sure that those 3 things get touched. Maybe not done, depends on how big they are, but they get touched in that day before you really do anything else. It's sort of like, I don't know if you've heard this idea of time management where you've got a jar and you put the large rocks in first, then the medium rocks, then the small rocks, then the sand. These are the big rocks. These are the big rocks that you want to get done. And that way you can focus your time on the things that are either the most urgent or the most important. Tip number 2 is time blocking for creativity. That means you actually put on your calendar, I am going to work on my book between 5 and 6, or 3 and 4, or 10 to noon, whatever the time block is, but block that time out just as you would block out time for a doctor appointment or a client call. Block out time for your book writing, and that can help you manage some time as well. Tip number 3 is the well-known 80-20 rule, and this is how it works for authors. It's also called the Pareto principle. And basically, you identify the 20% of your business activities that generate 80% of your results. Then you focus on these and let the others slide while you're working on your book. Or you delegate them. Maybe you don't let them slide, you delegate them, but you focus on that 20% that gets the 80% of results so that you can free up time to work on your book. Tip number 4, batch processing for efficiency. That means you set aside a large bulk of time and you batch stuff. So, one person I know has recommended that you only read your email once a day, and that can be whenever it is, the first thing in the morning, last thing at night, somewhere in the middle, and you batch all your email stuff into that time. Batch your writing into whatever time. Batch whatever these tasks are that you have, like your social media, maybe, whatever it is that you need to work on, batch it so that you can cover all you need to do for like maybe an entire week or an entire month and get it done, thus freeing up some time so that you can work on your book. Idea number 5. And this is magical. It's called leveraging dead time. So this is the time where you would normally spend usually twiddling your thumbs. Use it for your book. So this could be if you are commuting and not driving. You're not the driver. Maybe you're commuting by train or bus or somebody else's car. You can use that time to write. In fact, I often have brought along my manuscript when we were driving off to family's house that would take like about a 45-minute to 2-hour drive. There I am working on my book. Because otherwise, what would I be doing? Watching the beautiful scenery go by? Yes. Not that that's a bad thing. There's some really beautiful scenery here in Minnesota, but sometimes you just need to get the book done. Idea number 6, set mini deadlines for your book. So, if you've been following my outlining methodology, which I talk about in book 2 of the Author's Journey series called All You Need Is the Right Roadmap, if you've been following that plan, you've got an outline for your book. So, take a look at all the sections you need to write and create these little mini deadlines that you need to get each one done. Now, just like the outline needs to be flexible, these mini deadlines need to be flexible too. That means, okay, you're plugging along, and then you get stuck, right? And you're not getting it done. You're not, and it's causing the entire thing to not get done. Skip it, come back to it later. Get what you can done following your mini deadlines. Thing number 7 in the prioritizing tasks topic is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, get it done and put it away. That means maybe now this is something I do. I have been suddenly subscribed to like 10 million newsletters on a topic I have no interest in. And every day I spend unsubscribe, 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 and new ones come in and unsubscribe, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. It takes less than 2 minutes, I get it done. And then most of the time that newsletter doesn't come back, just some other one comes along to take its place. I wish I knew how I got on that list. Anyway, beside the point. Email's a really good idea for things. Oh, those wonderful piles on your desk, mail comes in, you set it on the pile and you forget about it, deal with it. Just you're either because what you're gonna do with your mail, you're either going to throw it away because you know you're not gonna do whatever it's asking, or it's something you need to take an action on. If it's gonna take you more than 2 minutes to take that action, then set it aside into the time when you're gonna batch do your mail, like paying bills. Or you're gonna say, "This isn't for me, it's for someone else," or make a quick decision. Like, I used to get the catalogs, and I'd like to just look through them, but right now, writing my books is more important than looking through catalogs of things I'm not gonna buy. So now I see the catalog, I chuck it. I made a quick decision, took me less than 2 minutes, gone, it's out of my hair. Thing number 8, and that is called a digital detox. And you set aside hours of the day in which you will not engage in the digital world. That means social media, that means email, that means text messages, that means Voxer, WhatsApp, whatever technology that you tend to indulge in. That means Netflix, Amazon Prime, TV, anything. All that stuff between this hour and this hour, I'm not going to engage in it. And then you either dedicate that time to writing your book, or you dedicate part of that time to writing your book, or you dedicate it to getting the other things that need to get done so that you can work on your book. And the last tip for prioritizing tasks is number 9, use the Eisenhower Matrix. That's this thing right here. It's basically 4 squares. And in this square, basically on this side of the grid, you've got urgent. These things are urgent. These things are not urgent. These things are important. These things are not important. And what you're going to do is delegate all the things that you do into one of these 4 boxes. Once you've done that, the things that are in this box right here, which are urgent and important, they have deadlines and they have consequences for not meeting those deadlines. Get those tasks done first. Paying the bills is usually in that box for me. In this box over here, they're urgent, but they're not important. And they contribute to your long-term success, but they have unclear deadlines. So schedule them out. You can schedule them now, for next week, whatever. Just schedule them so they're on your calendar and not in your brain. Schedule them out. Then you've got this box right here, which is not urgent, but they're important. And these are tasks that need to get done, but you don't have to do them. So that could be, I don't know, washing the dishes might go in there. And those are things you delegate to someone else, even if it's temporary. You have someone else help you out so that you're not doing them. That could be a VA, that could be a teenager. In the case of washing the dishes, it could be your loving spouse. Who knows? And then this last box right here, that one is not important, not urgent, and they are distractions and unnecessary tasks. Cut them out, delete them. Well, out they go. You don't need to do them ever. I will admit that sometimes I struggle with various things that need to what box they belong to, because sometimes they feel really important and they're not. Sometimes they feel really urgent, but they're not. And sometimes you'll have to like figure out where they go in that matrix, deal with them, and then you'll realize, wait a minute, this no longer belongs in this box. It belongs in this box over here, which I can delegate or trash. So I highly recommend taking a look at the Eisenhower Matrix. I will create one that is prettier than this and make it available to you in the show notes. So those are 9 tips on how to prioritize your tasks. Now I'm going to take some time to share with you some tips on how to leverage your unique entrepreneurial strengths. So, number 1, embrace your visionary side. As an entrepreneur, there is at least a part of you that's visionary. Visionary may not be one of your absolute strengths because not everybody's a visionary and not every entrepreneur is a visionary. But I believe that every entrepreneur has some form of visionariness to themselves. Use this strength to set ambitious yet achievable goals for your book. You have a vision for this book. Set goals to achieve that. Visionary goals can inspire and guide your daily tasks, and they make time management more purpose driven. So tap into that vision that you have for your book and help it inform the way you manage your day, your time, your business, everything. Another tip is to adopt agile practices. Now, when I say agile, I don't mean, oh, yes, I can balance on a beam. No, no, I'm not talking about agile is an actual methodology. It's used in software development. I am not an expert in agile, but I have had some experience with it. And you might want to use some of those methodologies are quite useful for helping you get projects done. It's a project management framework and it has like sprints. You could use sprints to get your chapters done. Look it up. This might prove useful to you. I'm sure there's also books. If I can find a couple of books about it, I'll put those in the show notes as well. Or if I find some good information, I'll add that to the show notes. Agile is a potential way for you, especially if you've got more of an engineering mind. It might prove very useful to you in helping you get your book done. Number 3 is to use technology wisely. That means you are probably quite familiar with various ways to automate various things in your business, like email software, chat software, messenger software that basically makes these things automated. Use the technology that you have available to you to get your book done. So, for example, maybe You can use the text to speech option in MS Word or Google Docs. I did a couple of videos, I'll put those in the show notes as well, of how to use these things so that you actually talk your book and it types it for you. It's pretty cool, especially if you're a little bit more of a fast talker and slow typer. You can also use project management apps like Trello. You can use Trello to organize your book. Like maybe you're more visual that way. Maybe you don't. I mean, I tend to do my outlines in MS Word, but I know people who've used Trello to organize their book. And using these tools can help you manage that project better. You can put your notes in them, you can organize your chapters, use little cards. It's pretty cool. So you can use that. Now, before I go on and share a few more tips on how to leverage your entrepreneurial skills, let's have a word from our sponsor.
In a world where the pen is mightier than the sword, one entrepreneur embarks on the ultimate quest to conquer the blank page and unleash a book that will change the game forever. Armed with Carma Spence's masterful strategies, our hero faces down deadlines, battles self-doubt, and navigates the treacherous waters of publishing, all in a race against time to bring their message to their ideal clients. The journey of 1,000 pages begins with a single word. Are you ready for your adventure? You can make it to the finish line. The saga begins now on Amazon.
I had fun doing that commercial. I hope you enjoyed it. So, before the break, I was talking about time management tips on how to prioritize your tasks. And then I started sharing ways to leverage your entrepreneurial strengths to get your book done. And I'm going to continue along that line before moving on to some time management hacks. So, the next way to leverage your entrepreneurial strengths is to implement a feedback loop. This is just as you may use customer feedback to improve your business, you can actively seek feedback to improve your writing. Now, how do you do this? You can join a writer's group. You can hire a book coach. You can hire a book mentor or some other form of book advisor. You can use your business besties as sounding boards like, hey, I've been thinking of including this chapter. What do you think? What do you think I should include in that chapter? And you have conversations about it and create this feedback loop. You can also gather a group of beta readers to read your manuscript and give you feedback to make it better. Thing number 5, and I've kind of alluded to this earlier, and that's delegate and outsource. You are not an island, so stop pretending that you are. Get help where you need it. So, for example, I hired ghostwriters to help me with the first draft of my book. I gave them my content, they massaged my content into something that's bookish, and then I massage it from there. You can get a VA to take over some of your less urgent or less important tasks that need to get done in your business. You don't have to do your accounting, hire an accountant. Get help where you need it. Hey, have somebody else do the laundry and do the dishes and dust the house and all that stuff, or at least while you're working on your book to give you more time to work on your book. All right. Then this next one is kind of it's related. And this Eisenhower Matrix will help you determine what these are, and that is focus on your high impact activities. So, writing your book could have quite a big impact on you and your business. So make that one of your top priorities. When you have a book, you get speaking gigs easier, you get media attention easier, you get better and higher paying clients easier. Being an author greases the wheels for the rest of your business. So that is a high impact task. But there's probably others in your business too. Focus on all these high impact tasks and let your staff or your whether it's virtual or full time or whatever, your help you. Next one, number 7, is to leverage resilience and flexibility for time management. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. You plan how you're going to use your time, and then stuff happens. Stuff happens. It's going to happen. People get sick. You weren't planning for that. The weather may change and all your electricity goes off. You weren't planning for that. I mean, yes, when you create your plans, you always give a little slack, a little wiggle room, but sometimes it's not enough. So you need to be able to understand that sometimes things don't go according to plan. Be flexible about it and just, have a growth mindset about it. Be resilient in that just because this particular plan failed doesn't mean all plans will fail. And you can do this. You can. I know you can. I believe in you. All right. Last tip for leveraging your entrepreneurial strengths, and that is decisiveness in time allocation. And I gave you an example. I get a catalog in the mail. I've decided that writing my book is more important than looking through catalogs. So now I don't even look through them. They come into the mail and they go into the trash. Mail, trash, mail, trash. Well, be decisive about other things in your business too. Don't dilly dally on tasks. There are probably things you're taking 5 minutes to do that could take only two if you were more decisive. So nurture your decisiveness because successful entrepreneurs are decisive entrepreneurs. And now, finally, I'm going to get to some time management hacks. This one is not one I use. I did give it a try. It doesn't work very well for me, but it might work for you. And that is the Pomodoro Technique. You take what do you call it? A little timey-wimey thing. What are they called? I can't think of what's a timer. It could be on your watch. It could be on your phone. It could be actually one of those kitchen timers that looks like a chicken or an apple. Doesn't matter. Set it for 25 minutes. And for that 25 minutes, focus on nothing but your book and get done whatever you can get done in that 25 minutes. So that's the Pomodoro technique. It's been recommended to me. I know some people who swear by it. It doesn't work for every personality. For example, it doesn't work for mine. But it could work for you, so give it a try. This is the thing about time management is there are a lot of things you can do. Try them out. And what I found also is interesting that is that some time management techniques will work for you for this project, but not for that one. So whenever one works, just put it in your little time management toolbox and bring it up for every project. And if it works, great, use it. If it doesn't, put it back in the toolbox. It'll work for something else. Another one here, I did mention this earlier in the podcast, and that's use voice to text software. Oh my gosh, this could be a game changer for you. You literally open up a Word doc. There's a little microphone up in the top right corner. I show you where it is in the video that I will put in the show notes. And you click the button, and then you just talk your book and watch it type. Then all you need to do is you'll need to edit it because sometimes it gets the words wrong. It's kind of like when you're getting things transcribed and like my name is always spelled wrong. Always. It always spells it with a K, even though my name starts with a C. So I have to correct it always. It's just what it is. So voice to text software is a godsend. An alternative to that is to just record it in some form of audio program. It could be a video, it could be an audio, whatever recording device you have, and then use one of the many AI transcription services. They're very fast. They're crazy accurate, honestly. I use Descript and HappyScribe. Descript is a video editing software that transcribes and you edit via text. Love it. HappyScribe, I've also used Trint. Trint is another transcription service. It's just cheaper and more effective than human ones. And a lot of these will also give you an option to pay more and have a human do it. It takes longer, costs more, but it's more accurate. So it's up to you what you want to do there. Idea number 3 for a time management hack is to write in sprints. You've got 10 minutes, write for 10 minutes. You've got 30 minutes, write for 30 minutes. You've got a whole day, write for a whole day. But write in like these little sprints that you can handle that I mean, I don't think I could write for an entire day. I would get squirrely and I'd probably eat too many cookies because when I get too squirrely, sometimes I eat badly. But write in sprints that work for you. Number 4, automate and delegate non-writing tasks. So if you can, zap it. That's Zapier. Zapier? Zapier? I think that's how you pronounce it. Zapier? You can set up zaps to get things done automated, get software that automates things. And for things you can't automate, delegate. Hire a VA. Get your teenager to help you out. Get your spouse to help you out. It's not forever. It's not necessarily forever. It's just help you out while you're writing your book. Next is the 5-minute rule. It's kind of like the 2-minute rule, but with a different spin on it. Basically, if you're struggling with procrastination, commit to writing for 5 minutes. It's just 5 minutes. And what you'll find is either you're not productive during that 5 minutes because this is a bad time to do that, or at the end of that 5 minutes, you're like, "Ooh, I've got my second wind," and off you go, and your 5 minutes turns into 50. But it gets you around that procrastination thing. You're just saying, "Okay, I'm just gonna do it for 5 minutes." Now, you'd be surprised what you can do in 5 minutes, really, honestly. You could probably write an entire paragraph in 5 minutes, or you might write 1 sentence, or you might write nothing. Who knows? Give it a try. It might push you over and get rid of that procrastination. Number 6 is use a project management tool. That can be Trello, that could be OneNote, that could be Evernote. There's all these project management tools that you can use that can help you organize your content, organize your time, organize all sorts of things so that you can get into your flow more easily. And finally, this is my favorite one. Reward yourself. Reward yourself. You just got something done. Let's celebrate, right? You just gotten something done. Yay! Celebrate. You just got something else done. Yay! Celebrate. You just did something else. Woo! Celebrate. Using celebration helps you find the joy in your life and in writing your book. So, you with me on that? Yes, you are. Ha ha. So, there you go. That was 9 tips for prioritizing tasks, 8 tips for leveraging your entrepreneurial strengths, and 7 time management hacks. I hope that you found at least one golden nugget in this episode. And this is Karma Spence saying ciao for now. I will see you next week. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Author Switch podcast and would like to show your support, there are a few ways that you can do that. First, I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Additionally, leaving a rating and review would greatly help me reach more listeners and continue providing valuable content. To stay up to date with the Author Switch podcast and gain access to additional information on amplifying your authority, influence, and thought leadership through books, you can follow me on LinkedIn at Karma Spence. For those interested in catching up on previous episodes, including those no longer available on podcast platforms, you can find them all at authorswitch.com/episodes, where you can choose to watch or listen to them at your convenience. Thank you so much for your support and for being a part of the Author Switch community.